Good morning. I'm Brian Abernathy. I'm the city's managing director, and it's great for everyone to be here today. Thank you for coming. I'm proud to chair the Zero Waste and Litter Cabinet. This group is taking a strategic and comprehensive approach to litter in general, but most notably, and they have been making great progress on illegal dumping. This strategy is a holistic approach that includes increased enforcement of illegal dumping laws, while increased enforcement shows dumpers that it's not tolerated in Philadelphia. The Cabinet is also working on improved regulation of the hauling of waste and tires and construction debris. Better oversight of this industry is needed, but we also cannot allow contractors, clean-out services, and other waste haulers to dump on our neighborhoods. I couldn't be prouder of the operating departments and our partner agencies that have come together monthly through the Cabinet. They bring us policy ideas like the Environmental Crimes Unit and support legislation that improves our ability to enforce these laws. I'm also proud that these same departments come together to ensure that we are implementing these strategies and tracking their success. Many of these representatives are here today, and I thank you. To date, we have processed 175 heavy illegal dumping cases through 311 requests, department information, city council requests, and 911. They have been passed off to our enforcement partners to make arrests and prosecute these cases. The DA has prosecuted, and our law department and licenses and inspections use a variety of penalties to stem the tide of illegal dumping. They go after an illegal dumper's business, vehicles used to do the dumping, and impose heavy fines and restitution. I want to acknowledge the staff at 311 who are constantly refining the data received from illegal dumping residents. They work with our community members to ensure that these cases of heavy illegal dumps get to the detectives in the Environmental Crimes Unit. I'd also like to commend Commissioner Ross and the Philadelphia Police Department for creating the Environmental Crimes Detective Unit in major crimes to give us the ability to better investigate illegal dumping so we can bring the repeat offenders to justice and to the source of illegal dumping. I also want to commend the District Attorney for his partnership in this important quality of life issue. My job as Managing Director is to ensure the best delivery of services possible. It's very hard to do that when we have to expend millions in labor to clean up illegal dumping each year. If we want a clean, safe, and vibrant city for all, stopping illegal dumping is one of the major things we have to do. We want our city to keep growing while protecting our land and the quality of life of our residents. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the person who created the Zero Waste and Litter Cabinet, Mayor Jim Kenney.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's great to be here today to see further progress on our illegal dumping efforts. Illegal dumping ranks second in the city's recent resident survey of the most pressing problems facing Philadelphia. Each year, it is estimated that illegal dumping costs the city millions in cleanup costs, staff time, and equipment. Illegal dumping also negatively impacts property values, commercial activity, and basic quality of life, and in extreme cases poses a public health risk. Our administration's Zero Waste and Litter Cabinet is continuing to develop strategies to tackle the illegal dumping from all angles. By installing cameras in illegal dumping hotspots, we are tracking down the people that dump in our neighborhoods on a regular basis. The footage captured on these cameras is helping us better prosecute and impose fines on perpetrators. We will hear more about this today. In addition to the installation of these cameras, we also increased illegal dumping fines from $300 to $1,000 for the first offense. We have also begun to seize vehicles involved in illegal dumping crimes to make it clear that this illegal practice is unacceptable and takes away from the beauty of our city. We also continue to work closely with the DA's office to increase and streamline illegal dumping cases in the court system, and it is working. And finally, I'm proud to see that the 2 environmental crimes detectives that we added to the police department's major crimes division last year are on the case. They have been very active in investigating illegal dumping across our city and will share some of their work with you shortly. Thank you again to everyone here today for their efforts to enforce our city's illegal dumping laws. I am glad to see that we are making progress on this important issue facing our neighborhoods. And I want to thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor. Like the police department, the district attorney has a host of things on his plate, whether it's violent crime, drug enforcement, and this important quality of life issue. I appreciate the district attorney's partnership, and I want to invite him up to the podium.
Good morning. I'm proud to join Mayor Jim Kenney, Managing Director Brian Abernathy, Streets Commissioner Carlton Williams, Philadelphia Police Department Deputy Commissioner Dennis Wilson and other city leadership today to send a message to everyone, especially companies, that we are taking illegal dumping, a public health and safety issue, very seriously. This is pollution. That's what we're talking about. And it's polluting neighborhoods where working people and poor people live. It's polluting neighborhoods disproportionately where black people and brown people live. That's what we're talking about. This is discriminatory pollution, and it is a threat to all of us. It is particularly insidious because the people who do it are targeting the poor, and they're targeting neighborhoods where they can get away with it, that they feel, rightly or wrongly, are neglected. There's a growing body of research that suggests that this kind of blight in communities tends to be associated with more violent crime. Unlike previous administrations, this office is largely treating illegal dumping as a misdemeanor offense. In the past, it was generally treated as a summary, which is a lower offense. And we are pursuing these infractions with requests for community service and restitution in order to right the wrongs that are committed in these communities by these polluters. As of this month, we have prosecuted 5 such cases since the start of 2019. We currently have 9 active cases, and we have 2 arrests that are pending. We're just getting started. Thank you all for being here today. I'm now pleased to introduce Streets Commissioner Carlton Williams, who has more to say on this issue.
I know how to make an entrance, right? Thank you, Managing Director. Hello, I'm Streets Commissioner Carlton Williams. I'm excited to be here today to discuss the progress of illegal dumping efforts and using surveillance cameras. Thank you, Mayor Kinney and City Council for your support. This issue is really serious to our department and our city as it impacts the quality of life in many of our local neighborhoods. It contributes to the decrease in property values and neighborhood appearance and could lead to increased crime. Illegal dumping is not only a detriment to our communities, but also places a financial burden on the city. Each year, the Streets Department collects and removes over 1.1 million pounds of illegally dumped materials, costing taxpayers about $1.5 million. The tires in FY19 alone, over 200,000 illegally dumped tires. Illegally dumped debris, as I mentioned earlier, 1.1 million pounds. And what we're seeing is an increased number of electronic waste of about 1.8 million pounds. I would like to acknowledge Deputy Commissioner Keith Warren, who works directly with our sanitation crews that have made repeated trips to clean illegal dumping sites. I would also like to thank Deputy Commissioner Richard Martinez, who was our liaison and working with the police department for the installation of cameras. When the Streets Department began working with the police department and the Office of Data and Digital Management last year to install cameras targeting illegal dumping, the goal was to catch offenders in the act. We are proud to see our efforts have paid off in the enforcement and prosecution of several cases. And I certainly want to thank our district attorney. We certainly appreciate this effort. Catching them is just one part of the process. We need to follow through on making sure people understand that we're taking this very seriously. It continues to happen throughout our neighborhoods and our street corners and our parks and recreation centers. But we are making a tremendous amount of progress in making sure that we reduce this type of negative behavior. To date, we've installed over 50 cameras citywide, with 100 coming each year annually, and we thank the public for their help in reporting illegal dumpers and ask that they continue to use the police tip line and Philly 311 to report these crimes. All available viable videos that we capture from the cameras are sent to the police for further investigation. However, there are some times when we are unable to prosecute these cases because we need additional information because the cameras may not pick up key information like license plates information. This is why we're here today to ask the public to join in our fight to catch these illegal dumpers. By releasing these videos, we hope that anyone with information on these cases will come forward and provide additional information to help aid in our investigations. Let's take a moment to see these dumpers in action. Now here you're looking at a street in North Philadelphia in broad daylight at Valeda and Carl Street, where the dumpers just blatantly dump. This is at 9th and Ontario, North Philadelphia, where we have cameras as well. Here's the 2000 block of West Ontario Street where they're unloading an entire box truck full of debris. Cars are riding by. We need that information. We need people to report them as soon as we see it. The good thing about these cameras is that we do have recording monitoring on it, so we catch this and we can zoom in on license plate numbers when we have the right view on the camera. But we still need the public to report these acts the moment they're happening, give information. Information will be kept anonymous, obviously, for the safety of the person reporting, but this information would allow us to catch these people from doing these acts and bring this to a closure. We have seen progress also in areas that we've installed cameras, in areas around Logan. We've seen less dumping, but people are still bold enough to try it, and so we want to send in a message and an example, and I think that's why we're here today. So again, I want to thank D.A. Krasner, Managing Director Brian Abernathy, and the entire Streets Department team and the Zero Waste and Litter Cabinet, and City Council. Councilman Kenyatta Johnson is here, who's definitely advocates. In fact, in his district, we've removed thousands of tires at 61st and Eastwick. We've placed a camera at that location, and hopefully we'll also see a reduction in dumping. But thank you very much, and we're looking forward to continue working with everyone to stop this from happening in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. My career has paralleled Councilman Johnson's. We started around the same time on separate sides of Broad Street in South Philadelphia. He has always been a tireless advocate for quality of life issues, and I'd love for him to say a couple words if he'd like.
Good morning, everyone. Today should be a celebration. Good morning, everyone. I really just want to come past and be supportive of this effort and commend the mayor here in the city of Philadelphia and commend Brian Abernathy and also our district attorney and Carlton Williams, our street commissioner, as well as Richard Ross for making this a high priority here in the city of Philadelphia. As Carlton mentioned, in the Eastwick part of my district and as well as Grace Ferry, we consistently call the streets department. I want to acknowledge also Keith Warren, Deputy Streets Commissioner. I call him on a regular basis because one of the number one issues that have been plaguing those parts of my district is the issue of illegal dumping. And so my thought has always been the aggressive enforcement to make sure that these individuals who dump inside of our neighborhoods, they have no regards as relates to improving the quality of life of the neighborhoods in which I represent. And so I want to thank my district attorney and the Philadelphia Police Department for the detective work, but most importantly, prosecuting individuals who do not have the best interests of our neighbors at heart. We have homeowners who have invested their life savings to stay inside their neighborhoods, to stay inside their homes, and individuals who illegally dump do not care for the quality of life of those neighborhoods. So I just want to come past and show my support, because this is definitely a good day for me, because it takes up a lot of time as it relates to constituent services in my office, going after the bad guys who have no regards to the quality of life of the neighbors in which I represent. So thank you, Brian, for your leadership, and as well as the rest of the stakeholders. Thank you.
And finally, as you can see, this is a large partnership with lots of different departments who are contributing to it. I want to introduce a colleague whose leadership in special operations of the police department has been tremendous, who not only oversees Homeland Security, but also oversees our environmental crimes unit. And I think it shows how important this issue is to the city. Commissioner Wilson?
Thank you, sir. Good morning. As you've heard, this is a big issue. It's a quality of life problem throughout the city of Philadelphia. We have individuals that day in, day out make a conscious decision to dump their contractor debris, tires, landscape material, household trash on private property or on the streets of Philadelphia. They do this primarily for it's a convenience to them or a monetary gain. Instead of going to the illegal dump and paying a fee, they make it someone else's problem. It's a priority for the Philadelphia Police Department. We take this very serious. In fact, as you've heard, Commissioner Ross has established an environmental unit this year. Those detectives follow up on each and every short dumping tip, 911 call for short dumping, anything sent to us from the Streets Department. They're doing a very good job. they're diligent, they're going to keep at it. What we're asking for is help from the community. For short dumping in progress, we're looking for a call to 911 immediately while it's going on. If it's no longer in progress, if the offenders have left the area, we then want the community to call 311, or they can call or text our tip line, 215-686-TIPS, that's TIPS. We'll get that information and we'll begin an investigation. What we're looking for specifically on these calls, whether it's in progress or after the fact, is real good description. If we can get a description of the offenders, description of the offenders' vehicles, a license plate always helps us, any kind of unique identifier. Often these are company vehicles. If we can get a name of a company or any unique description will help us greatly in these investigations. Also, if the community can take a picture or get a video without putting themselves in harm's way, that may make the difference in arrest or not. So, as you've heard, we're all working together on this. We're very committed, and we're going to continue. In the month of May, I know this environmental unit has made 5 arrests for short dumping. Many more are in progress. We're going to continue this, and we're looking to eliminate this problem. It's unnecessary, and we can do that if we all work together. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. We're happy to take a few questions.
Brian, earlier this year, you had a big ceremony where you showed off the camera, and I think it was North Philadelphia. Did anybody get caught in that area?
Commissioner?
That was at 9th and Venango. And so we did catch a few people dumping in that area, and that information was turned over. But the dumping that used to occur on a daily basis has drastically been reduced because they're either aware that a camera is in that location and they're afraid to go in. The video that you saw earlier was right up the street at 9th and Ontario. So as you can see, they're still dumping because either they're not aware or they're just not smart, and they're going to get caught eventually. So it is working. We're seeing a reduction, but people are still trying.
The district attorney mentioned something about discriminatory dumping. Who's dumping, and contractors, individuals?
So it's a range of contractors who are doing construction or rehabilitation, who are just dumping construction debris, clean-out crews, folks who are cleaning out houses, or some folks that you're calling to haul junk away. Tires continues to be a large issue in the city as well, where people will pay someone to haul away their tires, but those folks don't haul away their tires to an appropriate receptacle. They haul away those tires to a vacant lot or to a railroad tie and throw them down a bank. It really ranges in, but it's all people trying to make shortcuts and to make money. It's all kind of on the back of greed, as most crime is.
Is the city offering rewards? As of now?
Not at this time. Not at this time.
Is there any increase in the budget to pick up the dump?
There has been budgetary. Carlton, do you want to address the budget?
So we've had made investments in the Streets Department Sanitation Division, money on the side of mechanical street cleaning. We are looking at other ways in which we can increase the budget for additional cameras. We're working with City Council to use capital funding to expand the camera network. We plan our budget to do 100 a year, but that doesn't stop additional funding from coming for us to expand that network in specific areas of the city. I think Council President Clark has made an investment to put additional 50 to 100 cameras in his district in North Philadelphia alone. So I think with that combination of resources and funding, we'll be able to expand the program tremendously.
Just elaborate on the number of cases that have actually been prosecuted and disposition of those cases.
Do you have the back data?
Prosecution, no, but arrest, I can give the arrest. That forfeiture, or that environmental unit has conducted 68 investigations just in the month of May with 5 arrests. Year-to-date, 12 arrests for short dumping.
I'm Nick Esposito. I'm the Zero Waste and Litter Director for the City of Philadelphia. So those numbers are being actually updated today. We have a new, because we're tallying up for the month, so I can get those back to you if you want to, the exact number. I don't want to misquote what it is. But again, there's a range of where those are going to. We are doing, there's been a few that have been around restitution, so we're actually adding up the amount of it's costing us to actually do this cleanup, tallying it up, getting a streamlined process on how we do that amongst the different departments. We also have diversion programs where some people end up, so if it's a first-time offense, they don't have any priors, they'll end up in what we call diversion programs, and those, they're doing hours with the Community Life Improvement Program. So we've set that up with the DA's office that they're definitely going into those programs to see what happens when you have to actually clean up a lot after you dump on it. Through the fines process, again, some of those cases right now are in court for the larger fines that we're looking at right now. This is a long process, again, even though we started really tracking these cases and having this move forward in the beginning of the year. The way the criminal justice process works, through the trials, we haven't had the large fines in, but the restitutions have been put in, which has been very promising, and those cases are still in court. Yes, that would be part of it. We tally those up with staff time, equipment that has to be used, damage to the property. At one point, there was a turf damage that happened, and we charged someone for that as well. So.
Someone said that they used to be treating as summary offenses. How are they treating now?
Yes, so that was just a process issue sometimes. Again, there's a lot on the plates at the Philadelphia Police Department. It has historically been a misdemeanor when it's written up as a summary incorrectly, and that gets to the charging unit at the DA's office. Sometimes it would go through as a summary, which is the lowest offense. The charging unit has done a great job at the DA's office to spread the word to all the ADAs and the people in charging that this is written up as a misdemeanor. We actually will go back if we see it written as a summary and make sure that that's corrected to go into a misdemeanor. So we are trying, it's just a misdemeanor, and with that, if someone does have prior convictions, they have prior records, that will also affect that as well as it's being written up correctly.
Compared to maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, before this crackdown took place, what is the message you are sending out? Are you confiscating more vehicles? Are you instituting more fines and collecting those fines? I mean, is that message truly that effective?
I think the message is stop it. We're not going to tolerate illegal dumping in our community anymore. We're not going to tolerate businesses who are going to dirty our quality of life and threaten our public safety. We're going to make sure that we collect fines, that we apply fines, and that you get arrested and face the full extent of the law.
That's strong language, but I mean, I guess what I'm looking for is the metric or the figures that say, compared to this date a year ago.
Sure.
We collected X more dollars, and actually collected, not just assessed them, but collected.
Yeah, and John, I think you were out of the room when Nick said that we're in the process of finalizing that report, and we're happy to distribute it to everybody after the press conference.
Can you say where the cameras are concentrated? Are they concentrated in individual neighborhoods or certain areas?
So they're in many of what they call the hottest dumping spots in the city of Philadelphia that we've repeatedly gone over to service. Many of these times service either 2 or 3 times a month. And so we targeted those areas. I mentioned 61st and Eastwick being one of the areas that was chronic dumping of tires and illegal debris. Those are the type of areas that we survey, and we take that data and we consider it for a camera. So they're in locations near parks, they're near recreation centers, they're in, as you saw earlier, right in the middle of communities where dumping is very prevalent and wide open and widespread. So there is a variety of locations where they're located.
We got one more question?
How do you change people's habits? I mean, we are a city that has short-term dumping issues, but we also have a city where people like to throw trash on the sidewalk. How do you change that long-term? You're not the first administration to say there's going to be a crackdown on dumping and then go back to people dumping. How do you change those attitudes long-term on the city that thinks it's okay?
Sure, I think it's what the Zero Waste and Litter Cabinet is all about. It's about how we think about waste as a city. It's partly about how do we reduce and eliminate the waste that our businesses and residents are creating. It's about how we recycle. It's also about how we keep our streets clean. We need to lead the city as an example, and it's incumbent upon us to provide some quality of life assurances for our surrounding neighbors. but it's also about making sure people take pride in their own community, pick up after themselves, make sure that as the mayor said, you always had my mom didn't hit me across the back of the head, she'd squeeze my ear. But it's about making sure that we take pride. And we, as a city, also have to invest in those communities to make sure that they feel that pride and that they're not out there by themselves. It's not just one answer. Yes, it's about short dumping and cracking down on short dumping, but it's also about community plans for waste and litter. It's about the litter index, making sure people understand what litter is doing. And it's about making sure that we have enough trash cans in Center City. All of those things are important to changing the way Philadelphia thinks about waste and litter. All right, thank you.